Well, that's more like it. That is definitely a much better performance and a much more respectable performance by this Sixers squad in a very, very afternoon game, might I add. 12:30 start time. Hey, it doesn't matter, I guess, because there's two sporting events going on tonight at the Wells Fargo Center. Sixers just ended. You got Flyers tonight, so hey, it's weird seeing a 12:30 game Sixers game because you just rarely see it on a weekend. But hey, it's a dominating performance. It was a nice way to spend the afternoon, and it was a nice way, bounce back after all, the very sluggish, couple of losses, especially against the one against Detroit a couple of nights ago. And this is definitely a much better performance to see by the Sixers squad. Just basically everyone dominating on every circle. Sixers win 144 to 114 over the Hornets. Tobias Harris has a fantastic night, probably one of his best games of the season. Joel Embiid does his thing. Tyrese Maxey does his thing late. James Harden only putting up 12 points in this game, but still he was a factor, especially dishing the ball with 13 assists. Matisse Thybulle actually chipping into the offense. The bench actually producing something offensively wise. Niang, Shake Milton, Danny Green. So basically everyone in this game was a factor for the Sixers, and everyone was just on today, and that's very nice to see. That's very just, fun to see after, especially that night a couple of nights ago against the Detroit Pistons. Even though you would like to see this kind of performance against Detroit, still better late than never, and it was a very solid victory by this Sixers team. So before we get into all of this, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to TTP Sports. And if you are new to the channel, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. Also, that like button as well if you're looking for the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, and events. This is the place to be at, depending on the outcome. Great, miserable, depending on that outcome. Also, if you're a current viewer of the channel, I am grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you're looking for tickets to upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of, use the code TTP Sports down below for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So if you want to go to see the Sixers at the Wells Fargo Center, can't pass it up. Maybe get yourself some playoff tickets for the Sixers. Opening day is a week away for the Phillies. Definitely get yourself some opening day tickets for Citizens Bank Park. If you want to put yourself for the Flyers game, why not? And when the Eagles come back, definitely you cannot pass a $320 in your pocket. Use that for parking, use that for concessions. It's an easy deal to take. So use the code TTP Sports right now for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. So Sixers dominating performance over the Charlotte Hornets. It got off to, a little bit of a back and forth start, but basically as the game just went along, the first half was basically Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris doing their thing, dominating throughout the court. And then once you get into that second half going into the fourth quarter, it was basically just a runaway for the Sixers. And it was a very, very fun watch by this team. Tobias Harris probably with one of his best games of the season, finishes with 23 points. He was a plus 28 on the court. He was 8 of 13 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. He was very confident shooting those threes today, especially in the corner. And, from Tobias Harris, just looking through him throughout the season, it looked like there were certain aspects, like especially like parts on the court where he struggled to hit from, especially, he's more capable of hitting those jump and shoot type of threes, those catch and shoot types. But he got the ball, he stood in the corner, he took his time, and he found a way to hit those corner shots on places where he struggled from, majority of the times throughout the season. It was nice to see Tobias Harris, get those jumpers to fall today. He also went 2 of 2 from the free throw line, got himself 4 assists with 5 rebounds, 1 steal as well. Joel Embiid, just his dominant self, 29 points. He had help tonight, so that's basically the only, he had help tonight, which was a very fun thing to watch. 29 points, 12 of 16 from the field, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. So he didn't go to the line as much. So that's why he had 29 points in this game. He was 1 of 3 from 3, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. So Joel Embiid, just his usual dominant self up and down the court today, was just, he actually had help, unlike the past game against the Detroit Pistons. So it's very nice to see that. Tyrese Maxey got himself to a slow start, but he heated up a lot, especially in the fourth quarter. What we're used to seeing from Tyrese Maxey when he hits those clutch threes, especially in the fourth quarter. So it was very nice to see Tyrese Maxey start to heat up late in the game, finished with 19 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. A lot of those threes coming in that fourth quarter stretch. 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. A very solid night out of Tyrese Maxey, also a plus 21 on the court. All the Sixers starting 5, they were at least a plus 20, at least a plus 20 on the court tonight. Tyrese Maxey with a plus 21, Joel Embiid plus 26, Tobias Harris plus 28, James Harden a plus 27, and Matisse Thybulle a plus 28 on the court. And James Harden, another, quiet night scoring wise, 12 points on the night. He was 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. So he did not get to the free throw line as much. He wasn't getting the fouls called against him, but he was dishing the ball with ease today. Got himself 13 assists with 8 rebounds. He also had 5 turnovers on the night. So I wouldn't say it was the best performance out of James Harden. You still like to see him chip into the offense a lot more, especially when the team is dominating as a whole, as it did today. I wonder if it's still that hamstring that's bothering him a little bit. I wonder how the Sixers are going to work tomorrow, since you have a back-to-back in Cleveland tomorrow. Does James Harden get a rest? Does Joel Embiid get a rest after this type of night? That's definitely some questions that you're going to have to answer down the stretch, especially when you're getting to this back stretch of the season. What if there's only like 5-6 games left? So I think eventually, once you get down that stretch and you have your playoff spot locked and set, I think you're going to be seeing some rest nights for guys like James Harden and Joel Embiid, just so those guys are fully rested come playoff time, when you're definitely going to need that. Even though, like, after this type of win for the Sixers, I'm not going to, go, oh, okay, everything is fixed right now because they had this one dominating performance. We saw the past couple of games by this team. We saw the game against Detroit where there was just, terrible effort all around. James Harden was not good, and Joel Embiid on the court was basically the only guy out there not getting any help. And then you saw those past couple of other losses too, against, the Milwaukee Bucks, where they were in it till the very end, against the Phoenix Suns when they were in it until the very end. So there's still flaws on this team. We know the benches suck. We know the bench sucks. And yes, the bench is eventually going to have nights like this where they are scoring, where Danny Green gets some buckets, where George Niang gets some buckets, when Shake Milton actually, produces a little bit. So they're going to have those nights. It's not going to be insanely consistent. No way in hell. It's probably going to have maybe once in a blue moon where the bench completely goes off and, outscores the other team's bench. So it's rare when that's going to happen. And how that is going to work in the playoffs, you're going to have to wonder what Doc is going to do with his rotations. Definitely this bench is not going to get, a full rotation, even though Doc Rivers in the playoffs loves his bench rotations with, the most frustrating ways. Niang's going to get minutes. Danny Green's going to get minutes. DeAndre Jordan's going to get some minutes. Shake Milton probably. You're probably not going to see Paul Reed. I would assume not. You're not going to see Korkmaz. You're not going to see Isaiah Joe. It's mainly going to be the usual guys that come off the bench. Majority of the guys that are getting a lot of the minutes are the starting 5, and Tobias, Joel, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle. Those are the guys that you're going to be seeing getting a lot of, the minutes come playoff time. And we got to see how Doc Rivers works the rotations. And that's going to be a major question mark. Finishing off with the starting 5, Matisse Thybulle chipping into the offense today, 12 points in 21 minutes, but a plus 28 on the court, 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. He also got himself 3 rebounds with 2 assists and 3 steals as well. Going to some of the bench players, you got George Niang getting 10 points in 20 minutes of play. He was especially hot going down the stretch. He was 4 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Got himself 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. So a very impressive day from George Niang. Danny Green in 16 minutes. He gets 6 points, 2 of 3 from the field. Both of those shots were threes. So, a very Danny Green-esque day when he's offensively. Basically, he's only shooting jump shots from the 3 beyond the arc. That's basically all you're going to get from Danny Green. DeAndre Jordan, probably his best, game in a Sixers uniform. It's probably going to be his only best game in a Sixers uniform. 8 points on the night, 4 of 4 from the field, getting a lot of lobs in there as well, getting some blocks too. Got 2 blocks on the night. He also got 5 rebounds with 1 assist as well. Shake Milton off of the court in 26 minutes. He got himself 10 points, 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, and 2 of 4 from the free throw line. Got himself 4 rebounds with 5 assists as well. So a very solid night out of Shake Milton. Isaiah Joe getting some points off of the bench in 6 minutes. He shot 2 threes. He hit both of them, get 9 points on the night, 2 of 3 from the field as well. He also went to the free throw line and hit all 3 of those shots. So a very nice showcasing from Isaiah Joe late in the game in, crunch time. Well, not crunch time, because basically the game was basically over by that point. It was garbage time. I think that's what I should describe it as. Garbage time out of Isaiah Joe. So basically, yeah, just dominating performance by the Sixers overall. Furkan got some time. He got 4 points, and he was one of the only minuses on the court today. Him and Paul Reed, they were both a -3. Furkan gets 4 points. Paul Reed gets 2 points. So just overall, just a very dominant performance by the Sixers squad, and that's very nice to see. As a team, they shot 60% from the field, they shot 48% from three, and they shot 81% from the three throw line. So basically, just dominating performance all around. And looking at some team stats, and they're not updated yet on ESPN, so I'm not going to show you any team stats. So yeah, just basically very, very solid performance from this team. Looking at the standings after this win by the Sixers. So right now, with this win, the Sixers are 2 games back of the Miami Heat for first place. So right now, the Miami Heat, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Boston Celtics, they have all clinched playoff spots. So I'm assuming the Sixers most likely, maybe like, influencing with a loss maybe from Chicago or Toronto, or maybe their next win or next couple of wins, they'll earn themselves a playoff spot to just get locked in for the playoffs. So they're 2 games back of first place from the Miami Heat, who are in first. You got the Milwaukee Bucks in second, and you got the Boston Celtics in third place. Sixers are in fourth. Chicago Bulls right behind them at fifth place. Same thing, tied with the Toronto Raptors. And then you got your play-in type of teams. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers, you got the Brooklyn Nets, you got the Atlanta Hawks, and you got the Charlotte Hornets. And that's mainly what the play-in teams are most likely going to be, just because you got basically every team behind the Charlotte Hornets. They are already eliminated. So right now it looks like those bubble teams are going to be the play-in teams are going to be the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So basically these final stretches of games for the Sixers, it's going to be deciding where they sit in the playoffs right now, what place they're going to be. And I'm assuming they're going to average around most likely the 4th or the 3rd place spot in the conference. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Most likely at this point, I think they would get the 4th place spot because they only have 5 games left in the season. You got Cleveland tomorrow on a back-to-back. So I wonder if Doc is going to rest Joel Embiid or James Harden. Then you got Indiana on 2. So you got a 3-game road trip starting tomorrow in Cleveland. You got Tuesday in Indiana. You got Thursday in Toronto. And then the final 2 games of the season are at home, which are a back-to-back on a Saturday and a Sunday, the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. So you're going to be seeing probably a lot of guys getting rested once the Sixers clinch that playoff spot. And that's most likely what's going to be. Just a backstretch of the season going into the postseason. That's all it's going to be. And like I said, what I expect, they're probably going to clinch at least the 4th or the 3rd place spot. That's where I see them sitting. I don't see the Bulls hopscotching them. I don't see the Toronto Raptors hopscotching them. So right now, you got to wait and see what happens come playoff time, who the Sixers matchup is going to be, where they're going to place. Most likely, I think right now, a lot of people are expecting them to play the Toronto Raptors. So you just got to wait and see what happens. You got to wait and see. It could be the Chicago Bulls as well. So like I said, you got to wait and see what happens. So, but very good performance by the Sixers today. And you got to see what happens tomorrow against Cleveland to see if James Harden plays, to see if Joel Embiid plays. Maybe Doc rests him a little bit just because of the back-to-back, and especially with traveling wise. So got to wait and see what happens. So what are your thoughts on this game, everyone? What are your thoughts on this performance by the Sixers squad? Does this game bring you back a little faith? You're not going to overreact by this, dominating performance. So what are your thoughts? Leave those comments in the comment section below. I'd like to see those as always. Don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. Don't forget to check out the Band of Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Florida Pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you do is hit that sub button, and also use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next time.